All right, so this is just a simple worksheet where we can graph using vertex form. Again, mathematicians are rather plain when they come up with names. Again, slope-intercept form. Again, that's a linear equation that tells me literally what the slope is and what the intercept is, meaning the y-intercept. So vertex form, again, flat out tells me what the vertex is of the parabola. Okay, so number 19 here, it's -2 x plus 5 squared minus 3. So looking at this, I know that the vertex is going to be -5, -3. Because whatever number's with x, meaning the 5, it's sort of like when you find the factors, when you factor a quadratic equation, then you have to solve for it, meaning you basically do the opposite of what's with x. So instead of x plus 5, x actually equals -5. So that's why -5 is the vertex, and then the back number here, -3, is the vertical shift, meaning we go down 3. So if I plot out the vertex, it's going to be right here at -5, -3. Okay? And now, again, I know I could find the x-intercepts, I could find the y-intercept, but for these purposes, whenever it gives you vertex form, I mean, just to give a rough sketch, when it says a sketch, like the instructions, it just wants a general idea of what it's going to do. And what we do to do that is look at -2, the number in front of the parentheses, because that is A. A tells us a couple of key things. A tells us if our graph's going up or down, which in this case, if it's negative, that means it's going down. Or as I like to think of it, it's sad. Okay, so it's going to go down. And if the number is bigger than 1, the absolute value is bigger than 1, then it's going to be more narrow than usual. Because as I like to say in quadratic land, the more you eat, the less you weigh. So it's going to be a little bit more narrow as it goes down than usual. Okay, so if I made a sketch, I would make it look like that. Whereas a normal graph would be sort of like this, a little bit wider. Okay, and if it were between 0 and 1, I would make it really wide like this. But the green graph is what I'm concerned about. So there we go. All right, let's quickly do number 20 while we're here. So the vertex, hopefully you can look at that and say, well, Mr. Schwann said something about the number with x being opposite, so that should be -2. And the y part is -1. And you would be correct. Okay, so -2, -1 would be right here. Okay, and now notice that there's no number in front of the parenthesis, but of course there's always an invisible 1. Okay, and the 1 is positive, meaning my graph's going to be going upwards. And because it is 1, it's going to be normal shaped-ish. Okay. So if I had to graph it, I would graph it like this, noticing how my graph is keep going up and out at the same time, and I'm trying to make a very nice curve there at the vertex. Okay? If it were a number bigger than 1, let's say it was 3, for example, I would have made this graph a little bit more narrow, something like this. Okay? And if it were wider, meaning a number between 0 and 1, I would do something like this. Something like that. So anyway, there you go. That kind of gives you a quick sketch. So if you're given vertex form, simply put the vertex on there. And all you have to do is look at A, the value in front of the parenthesis, because it tells you those key things.